Khubor ka Batisi TV. Lawan Rashapi da ka Orange Nissan Loom So Po near Fire Brigade Shillong. Ringkat bat ka Victorium ka Dukan ki Tiar Kilan Met ka Babhatam Hakador ka Babit Hannong Thumai Old Beat House Shillong.
Ka Committee for Women Empowerment balathung de ka ying dorbar thau an ka jala ka lapan pau ya ka jing Khñiang halor ka Kynthei ki bangat ha Khñiang Jingpang HIV hapadeng ki Kynthei ki ba Ïaid Nuti hapo kani ka nong ba Shillong. Ka chairperson jang ka committee ka Dr. Maisel Amprin Lingdo habaya karen bat kilat pathai khubor ka layatho bakidon hado khat sanspa lai pu prangut ki Kynthei ki ba Ïaid Nuti kat kum ka jingyo lum jingkhain de ki seng tremon sngob ha ka ba arspa ngut naki ki dai ki balalap bakidon ya Khñiang Jingpang HIV bat menta ki don hapadeng ka jingsha sumar balatip kum ka antiretroviral therapy. Hagajo ko por ka Dr. Amprin Lingdo kalapan paru i ka jing Khñiang bagi don bongut ki Kynthei ki bujumulen man Ïaid Nuti ki bumjulet pha test satya yalade khanang bakin dup tip la ki don ni em ya uniu Khñiang Jingpang hagamet ka jongki.
It has been a meeting of 3 big districts: West Jantia Hills, East Jantia Hills, East Khasi Hills, and we were able to interact with officials from these 3 districts to discuss few very important agendas with regards to the empowerment of women. In East Jantia Hills, we were able to interact with the police department to follow up on the several atrocities against women, where we have seen that the crimes in that district seem to be on an unprecedented rise. The SP of the district has briefed the committee that by and large, some of the most heinous crimes in that district are being attended to. 2 recent rapes, murder. Police are on the job. They have already garnered enough evidence and they are in the job of an investigation which promises a deserving result. As far as POCSO cases in East Jantia Hills, we were given the impression that there were 53 POCSO cases registered in the district, out of which 28 cases have already been charge sheeted and 20 are pending and 9 are at their final report stage. There have also been 8 murders, 6 murder of a woman and 2 murder of children in the district. And the police has given us a report which seems to be going on the right direction. We have also seen from the East Jantia Hills district certain difficulties that are being faced by the police department in the matters of gathering reports, identification of perpetrators of crime, and we will duly compile all of that information and send it forward to the police headquarters, especially in matters regarding the delay of forensic lab reports, the delay of other reports, even medical reports from the hospitals and other things. And we hope that we will be able to jointly combat this huge attack on women in that district. The West Jantia Hills police gave us a very satisfactory report on the recent discovery of a young girl murdered on the highway. Police are confident that they will be able to have enough evidence to charge sheet a suspect, but those investigations are also ongoing and cannot be divulged to the public at large or to the committee in particular. What was worrisome in West Jaintia Hills is that the increase of teenage pregnancies was very, very alarming. 500 plus cases of teenage pregnancies between the months of March till today. Now that is a huge wrong indicator of how things are not going right in the community. We as a committee have decided to be traveling to these two districts between the 21st, 22nd and 23rd of April to have an on-the-ground, first-hand information on how cases are progressing and how a sense of security is being sent out to the public at large, who at this point of time in these two districts is very, very, has been taken a beating. When we came to East Khasi Hills, we were very upset to be informed that the numbers of HIV/AIDS in the state of Meghalaya is increasing very alarmingly. 5,000 plus cases of HIV/AIDS positive in the state of Meghalaya. Now that is something which is very unfortunate. And we have had a detailed discussion with the entire departments of police as well as Department of Social Welfare on how we need to immediately address the issue of commercial sex workers. The police did not deny matters that were discussed on the floor of the House, and the police, including the Social Welfare Department, has given us the assurance that the government will now design a policy specific to address the issue of HIV/AIDS in the background of commercial sex workers in the state of Meghalaya. It is true that the numbers of CSWs across the state are very high and alarming. And government, in the representation of the Principal Secretary of Social Welfare, has already given us assurance that we will re-meet to plan a roadmap to address this very big social evil in the state of Meghalaya. We had also discussed at length the application of various acts, various sections of law that are applicable in the state of Meghalaya to try and curb trafficking, especially trafficking of minors, which to me and to anyone is a heinous crime. We also had a long discussion where officers at the level of the DCs, officers at the level of SPs, and other officials of the Department of Social Welfare were present in all the three districts. We are now going to be appraising even our colleagues in the Legislative Assembly of all of these details, and we are going to sit and brainstorm and find out ways and means to ensure that HIV/AIDS, commercial sex workers, crimes against women and children are put under control in these 3 districts. More or less, this is a nutshell of what we discussed. Another alarming indicator in the state of Meghalaya is that 3 out of every 1,000 pregnant women are actually testing positive for HIV. Now that again is a big shocker for all of us. And government has to now become aggressive in its redressal on this entire HIV/AIDS agenda. The other issue that I had discussed with the Principal Secretary was the absence of a chairperson for the Meghalaya State Women Commission. Many months have gone by and we've not seen any individual being installed in that position till date. And this will automatically disadvantage agendas for women. The Principal Secretary has informed me that the government now is reviewing the rules, the appointment procedures, inclusive of the remunerations paid to the chairperson of the Meghalaya State Commission, Women Commission. Apparently, the salary of the chairperson is only 1,000 per month. 10,000 per month. And so they're reviewing that. They're reviewing the procedures for recommendation of candidates from districts. And he has assured us.
Districts like the East Kynthei Hills, the West Kynthei Hills and East Kynthei Hills on the aspects of the rise in crime against women, rape, murder happening to young girls, school-going girls and women, both in East Kynthei Hills, West Kynthei Hills, and again, matters relating to sex workers, apparently in Shillong, which resulted out of the discussions held in the floor of the House in the just concluded Assembly session. While reviewing these districts, this committee came across certain lapses of the Department of Social Welfare, wherein the one-stop crisis in both the East Kynthei Hills, that is in Ïaid, and in West Kynthei Hills, that is in Joy, are not functioning in the right perspective. We expect that the one-stop crisis that have been set up with the assistance of the central government, wherein we have councillors, we have paramedics, we have the legal officers who have been placed in this one-stop crisis, would assist women who are in distress. Calls normally reach these one-stop crises, and such calls of distress, it could be a woman being beaten up by her husband, it could be a woman who is being followed, it could be a woman who has been stalked, it could be a woman involved in the domestic violence. So therefore, this woman could call up the calls and the one-stop crisis, and such victim would be given proper counseling and again refer the matter for the law enforcing agencies like the police to take over. But such activities are not actually happening in these two one-stop crises, and therefore we as a committee, we have already appealed to the respective deputy commissioners to review, to monitor the functioning of these one-stop crises. And as you had mentioned, you heard that the Honorable Chairperson had mentioned that we would be travelling to these districts on the 21st, 22nd and 23rd of April, and we would be reviewing on the ground, and we will also be inspecting hospitals, we will be inspecting the one-stop crisis centers, we will also be inspecting other areas of concern on the police stations as well, so that we would take the ground reactions and the ground realities into account. The other issue that is a concern is that there is the absence of shelter homes for women. Repeatedly, this committee has apprised to the government also that shelter homes for women, exclusively for women, has to be set up. It could be a rehabilitation center, it could be a de-addiction center. Now, if suppose there is any woman who is a drug addict, then there is no place for her to be kept, and she has to be kept along with the men. And therefore, we need an exclusive de-addiction center or a home for a woman to be counseled, to be treated for such acts. The other issue that really concerned the committee was the prevalence of HIV among sex workers in the East Customs District. We had the project director Max, who attended this discussion today, and the project director Max gave us a report that as of now there are more than 200 sex workers who are carrying HIV in them. Now you can imagine what could be the ultimate fallout of such diseases. Now, if there are 200 sex workers in the city having HIV, now we have to alert everybody that this is a time that we should be very careful. We would not like to shame them. We would like to help them. We would not like to stigmatize anyone like that. But if there are such people who are carrying HIV in them, I would request them to kindly volunteer and go and meet the Max Society, who are ready to help, free of cost. All medication for any HIV patient is free of cost from the government. So therefore, I would sincerely appeal to anybody, any citizen of the state who is an HIV carrier, to kindly take care and kindly protect yourself and take medications through the Max Society or from the government, which is free of cost. Now, having learned that there are many sex workers who carry HIV, we have to be on the alert. Therefore, this committee is going to review this whole thing in 2 months' time again. We have given 2 months' time to the health authorities, to the social welfare authorities, to the district administration, to the police, and to the Max Society to come back in 2 months' time with a roadmap. What is the roadmap that you have with you, or you're preparing yourself to tackle this menace? It is a social problem for us now. Now, therefore, when we hear of such sex workers walking around in the city, then we have to be careful. These sex workers need to be rehabilitated. Our committee today discussed at length with the Social Welfare Principal Secretary of what are the modalities that the government is coming up to help these women, help these sex workers to come to the mainstream. Let us bring them back home. Let us give them some good schemes so that they could rehabilitate it and leave the work, the sex work behind. And therefore, we would like to follow up on these issues, and we hope that the state government, we hope that the officers will come up with a concrete plan. The committee suggested to the Social Welfare Department to frame a policy, a state scheme. Right now there is only Swadar Grey. Under the Swadar Grey, it is a scheme provided by the Government of India to rehabilitate all these sex workers.
For 5 months.
For 5 months. Sorry, for 5 years.
5 years, sorry.
For 5 years. Now, this scheme is not functioning well in the state. It is because the fund flow is very, very slow from Government of India. Therefore, this committee has requested the Principal Secretary of Social Welfare to frame a new scheme, a state-related scheme, wherein this scheme should dovetail the health sector, It should dovetail the social sector and other sectors which could help in providing a package for these sex workers so that these women will leave this job and come and take the scheme and reform themselves into a human being of the state with responsibility. Now, if these women are given a sense of responsibility with a particular scheme and a package, I'm sure they are ready to take it. So that is what we discussed today, and we hope in 2 months' time we should be able to meet again to get more inputs from the respective departments.